Well, it's been nearly 9 years since the attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. September 11th, 2001 is a day which for many has already been explained. Case closed. But there is a movement that's been picking up a lot of steam. Thousands of people who say the accounts given to the people by the government are flawed. Some even say false. Joining me from our New York studio is Jesse Richard, editor of TVNewsLies.org. Mr. Richard, the 9/11 Truth Movement, as it's called, once viewed simply as a conspiracy theory. Now we're seeing some changes in that perception. Talk a little bit about the evidence here that this movement is growing.
Well, first of all, understand one interesting aspect about the movement. Throughout the entire term of the movement since 9/11, you've never really had a significant number of people who've looked at the evidence and questioned the official narrative, switch sides and go back to believing in the official narrative. All of the movement has been the other way. It's been people who believed the official story like I did, and have taken the time to examine the evidence that's supposed to back up the official story that says, hold on a second, this doesn't look so good. So clearly, it's not so much a matter of what people believe, it's whether people want to take the time and look at what they're being told.
And we're seeing a lot of different people, as you mentioned, switch sides. And I want to talk about one man, Richard Gage. He's the founder of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. He's been asked now to speak at more than 100 different events. What do you think this is saying about this movement?
Well, it's interesting because it brings the word credibility into play. And that's always been a hot subject, credibility, what makes someone credible. He has credentials that make people listen to him and respect his word. You don't need to be qualified in surgery to save someone's life. If someone who's completely unqualified in the health industry gives someone CPR, they save the life. If someone looks at evidence and says, hey, this doesn't look too good, you don't have to have credentials. It's kind of sad that we have to wait around until highly accredited people join the party, so to speak. But it's great to have Richard along, and someone like that to lend their word to this very important subject.
Let's talk about some of the perceptions here, some of the perceptions of people like you. Break it down, just kind of the nuts and bolts of what you actually either believe happened or what you think is missing from the story that we've gotten from the government.
First of all, I think the closer you look at the official story, the more laughable it becomes. One of the most important aspects of this that you hear when people defend the official story is not so much the nuts and bolts, not so much the details, not so much the plethora of information that's out there. They stop you at the discussion. They say, don't even consider that someone would do this to their own country. Well, take a closer look at the cabal that runs this country and that was especially running the country during the neocon years. We're talking about people that wrote about needing a new Pearl Harbor, that changed a lot of national security procedures during that period in order to, some might say, make it easier for just such an event to happen. So when you have people that talked about the need for such an event, in charge of protecting us from such an event, during a period that we have the first such event in 60 years, where the number of things that had to go wrong with the security that was in place is beyond calculable. You're talking about a very common sense concern to suspect these people. These people acted suspicious before, during, and after the behavior of the president's entourage during the day of the attack. The fact that his entourage, when known the second plane was attacking, realized he was not in danger, so they didn't move him. And remember, we were told that we didn't know the scope of an attack. If we didn't know the scope of an attack, the Secret Service is supposed to jump on it and protect the president. Well, they clearly acted like they knew nothing was up. Then you have the behavior of the president and the vice president who didn't want an investigation, wouldn't go under oath for a interview, did it in private, only gave an hour for such an important event. Suspicious behavior, which would have warranted indictments under almost any other crime in the world. Now we have to indict evidence instead of the incredible behavior of the individuals involved.
Certainly a topic that looks like we'll be talking about for a long time to come. Jesse Richard with tvnewslive.org. Thank you so much.